Hi, my name is Kendall Dunn, and I was both mentally and physically abused by my mother as a child. I think when people think of someone who was abused as a child, they assume that it would be that quiet person in the back of the room and that it's going to be, the kid who dresses all dark and doesn't talk to people. And that's not necessarily true. Just as any circumstances, like a breakup, people react differently to every situation. I, for example, like I said, was abused, and instead of becoming a quiet, reserved kid, I became the exact opposite. I became a total extrovert. I always had to wear bright colors. I always had to be cracking jokes, trying to make people laugh, trying to make people smile. That became basically like my goal in social interactions, was to make people happy. So you can never really tell who is the person who was affected by it out of a crowd of people, because everyone reacts differently, and a lot of people fail to realize that. And the problem that this leads to is there are so many jokes. I've had people crack jokes around me where I would bring up something like, when I was little I wanted to be a lawyer, and someone would crack a joke, "Oh, haha, you must have been abused as a child because nobody wants to be a lawyer." And how do you react to somebody making a joke of that when it actually was true? To me, it's really no different than you making a "your mama" joke to someone whose mother passed away. I mean, it's taking a very, very serious matter that affects people's entire life and making a joke out of it, all because you don't know what happened to them. I think one of the most important things that a person who wasn't personally affected can do is simply try to talk to someone if you think they were abused, because it's one of those things where usually a child of abuse is abused by a parent or someone they believed they could trust. And how can you really trust other people if your own mother or father or older sister or someone in your family who's genetically programmed to love you does this awful thing to you? How are you supposed to trust, that random friend that you met 3 years ago in English class? You never really, it's harder to find that connection. So I think it's really important for people who weren't abused to try to start a discussion with someone who was, because just clearing the air and getting all of that pain off of your chest really helps so much, because it's bad enough to have to carry the burden of being a child of abuse around, but having to carry it as a secret because you don't know how people are going to react and if they're going to treat you differently makes it a million times worse, because you don't know who you can talk to about what.